Brave. There he is. Abby? Handsome? I have something for you. It's a stick. It's been in your enclosure for a long time.
Wow.
It's a stick. What's the bird's name? His name's Abbott. He's an American crow. Abbott, I have something for you. Actually, I have two things for you. But you can only pick one. I said you could only pick one. Okay, check this out. I've flooded the market, unfortunately. There's no longer any demand. Someone asked the difference between a crow and a raven. Crows are smaller, and they have a... Like, if you look at the top of a crow's beak, or if you look at the top of a raven's beak, it kind of goes like that, you know? Like, the top of a raven's beak looks like that. The top of a crow's beak kind of looks like that. It's straight, you know? Versus this. Ravens also have that, like, iconic, like, beard under their beak. But the easiest way to tell is that ravens are just significantly larger. They're both corvids, though. And then their tail, right? So crows, if you see them fly, I did not understand that demonstration. Really? Okay. If this is a crow beak, or sorry, if this is a raven beak, right? Like this is the raven's head and like his eyes right here. This is a raven beak, right? That is a crow beak. Eye, head. And then their tails, crows have a straight across tail, like their tail, if they're flying above you in the air, it goes like this, right? Ravens' tails go like this. So there's a V shape in their tail. They are in the same family. Yeah, they're both corvids. If you're wondering if it's a raven or a crow, it's a crow because ravens are way bigger and you'll look at it and be like, oh shit, that's a raven for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Learning. Abbott, what if I told you I had something for you? It's not a stick. Abbott, I have for you a gift. Does she like shiny trinkets and is afraid of everything new?
Wow.
I finally saw a raven in Yosemite. That's cool. Does she think everything is a bomb? Where's Coconut? He's up there screaming at me. Coconut! Coconut! If this is drama-free fun time, when's the drama-filled agony time? We don't have that here. Speaking of agony, though, do you guys want to hear about my root canal? How did that go? So, I call a bunch of dentist places, right? Like, I'm like doing my due diligence. I'm like finding a good dentist because the older I get, the more I hate the dentist, and so I wanted to do like a good job and find someone that I liked. I was recommended a few by friends. I was recommended the one that I went to by, I won't say who. And I was like, okay, this will be great, surely. So I call the office, right? I like played it up. I was like, I have a phobia of the dentist. Like I I need, like, I would love to be entirely knocked out. I realize it's not really an option. So like, what can we do? And they said that they could use nitrous oxide, like laughing gas, right? Great. Which actually was really good news, because I talked to my friend who's a dental hygienist before, and she was like, you got 2 options. Like, you go in localized anesthetic, or you take this pill that's like an amnesia pill, and then you're out for like 4 to 6 hours post-procedure. She's like, you won't remember anything. Like, post-procedure. And I was like, I don't really want that either. That's a lot. Like, I don't want to deal, like, that's scary. I don't want to deal with all that. And then, like, someone has to pick you up and, like, the whole thing. And I was just like, that's, like, too much.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. So I did the pill for my most recent thing and it worked great. Well, so I was, like, unsure about that. So then they told me that I could do laughing gas, which feels like an in-between, you know? Is, like, you just, like, I don't know, you're conscious, sort of, but, like, you're kind of just feeling good, whatever. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And so, like, I talked to them about nitrous oxide, great. I, like, sign all the nitrous oxide consent forms online, great. So I go into the dentist. I get there 10 minutes early for my appointment. I've already filled out all the forms online. I'm, like, crushing this patient thing, right? Like, I'm doing everything that they want me to do. So I get there 10 minutes early. I wait in the waiting room for like 45 minutes for my appointment. So that's annoying, but whatever. I get in there, I sit down. They're like, by the way, one of the dentists that I called, remember, did I tell you guys about the cold test? I did, right? Where like they had to test which tooth needed a root canal. So they put a cold thing on each tooth until I said that it hurt, which really pissed me off because I was like, I could have told you which one freaking hurts. Pissed me off. So I called multiple dentists. One of them that I called, she was like, yeah, but because you're new at this facility, like we have to do all the tests over again. And I was like, okay, so you're gonna do a cold test? And she's like, yes. And I was like, never mind, bye. Hung up on that dentist office, right? This one, I was like, do you have to do any more testing? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, great, then I'll come in. So I go in, he was like, all right, we're just gonna do some tests. And he starts like tapping my tooth. And that's what they did before the cold test. And I was like, are you gonna do a cold test right now? And he was like, we normally do. And I was like, I really, really don't want you to do that. And he said, okay. So I was like, all right, I didn't know it was that easy. Great, no cold test. And then he's like talking to me about his kids, whatever, like normal stuff, everything's fine. And then he put the thing in my mouth to numb my mouth. And I was like, why are you doing this right now? Like, because when they do that, that's right before they give you the shots in your mouth. So I was like, what's he doing? Why is he doing that? And like, I see him grab the needle to like give me and I was like, why did I sign all these laughing gas consent? Why wouldn't you give me the laughing gas before we do any of this? Because this part sucks too. Like if I'm gonna pay for the laughing gas, I might as well have it before like we do all this. He starts numbing my mouth. I see him grab the needle to go numb, like put the local anesthetic in my gums. And like, that's one of the worst parts, right? Of going to the dentist is like them giving you a shot in your mouth. But I was very brave. And I was like, hey, are you giving me the nitrous oxide? He was like, oh, do you want that? And I was like, yeah. I've like signed the consent forms, you know, like paid for it, whatever. And he was like, okay, we can do that. It just like takes some time to set up. And I was like, okay, go ahead, set it up. And so he was like, okay, we can do that. Let me just numb you first. And then he gives me like 5 shots in my mouth. And I was like, that's fucked up. I don't understand what's going on. So then he gives me the shots anyway.
Wow.
And then they bring in the nitrous oxide. They like set it up, whatever. They bring me the nitrous oxide. She like goes to set it up with me and she's like, well, you've already done the hardest part. And I was like, okay, I know. Thank you. So then, yeah, let's go do this with Siren. This will be good. So she puts the thing on my nose so that I can start like inhaling nitrous oxide. And then it falls into my mouth, to which I picked it up and put it back on my nose. And she's like, whoops, that's not supposed to happen. And I was like, I didn't think so either. And then she was like, okay, do you feel the airflow? And I was like, not really. Like I hear air, but like I don't feel anything. And she was like, oh, okay, well the bag is moving when you're breathing, so it should be on. And I was like, I don't like the way you said that, but okay. I trust you, Miss Medical Professional. Hello? Hello? Mia. Hello. So, I'm kind of sussed out at this point, right? Because, you know, because of things I've said. Come here! Wow.
Shadow Snake 1961 just subbed at tier 3 for 10 months.
Shadow Snake, thank you. It's 3 o'clock. Okay, so the endodontist comes in. The endodontist comes in, and he was like, oh, it's not on, let me turn it on. And I was like, okay, great. Yeah, I figured it wasn't on, but I'm so glad that somebody was there to see it. And then he was like, okay, with nitrous, like, we just want to make sure that So he was like, it's not on. With nitrous, we want to give you just enough so that you feel good, but not so much that you're nauseous. So he was like, okay, we'll do like 30 seconds. And I was like, okay, great, whatever. So then he was like, I don't know, he like counts to 30 or whatever and like gives me nitrous and I'm breathing it in. Guys, I don't think that you should do drugs, but I do understand it. It was sick. Like, maybe I shouldn't say that. You know what? It's supposed to be sick. It was all legal and prescribed, okay? But like, it's so loud. It's so loud. It's not nice. It kind of just felt like being super, super drunk. Like I felt like I was blasted. Okay. I felt like that. Okay. To the point where like I actually was laughing at one point and I didn't realize I was, and then I realized that I was physically and I got really embarrassed. Like I was just like having a blast, okay? Having a great time. Room was spinning. It was awesome, like in a good way. It was spinning. It was awesome. And then, did you say Tico? Or was that Miley? Did you say hello? Tico, Tico, Tico. Tico Taco Tuesdays. She hates my guts. So the story has a good ending? No, absolutely not. I haven't even gotten to like the story part. So, I'm feeling great. I'm laying in the chair having a great time. I start feeling nauseous, but like it was fine. Also, I like am blasted. So like and there's a bunch of stuff in my mouth. So like I can tell that I'm feeling nauseous, but like I don't really know what that means in that moment because I'm so gone, right? And then she sticks her hand in my mouth to like pull something out and I gagged. And she's like, oh, like, is that because my hand was in your mouth? And like, number one, I can't respond to you because there's a bunch of stuff in my mouth. And number two, I can't respond to you because I am blasted. I can't speak, okay? So, and then I like tune back into the real world for a second and I'm hearing her say like, she's gonna throw up, she's gonna throw up. And I was like, who? I know it, they have me turned on my
20 months.
Vishnu, thank you. They had me turned on my side, and I'm yakking all over the floor, all over the floor in the dentist and all of their sterile equipment. Like, I'm throwing up everywhere. But it's only half of the volume of vomit that is coming from my body exiting my mouth, because there's so much stuff in my mouth that's keeping the vomit from leaving. So a lot of it is still in my mouth. And they were like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I opened my eyes for a second. I like looked on the ground and I saw like my vomit all over like equipment and stuff. And I was like, something has gone terribly wrong here. And so they're like, I'm so sorry. At this point though, I'm still blasted. Like, there's no way I could get up and like walk around. Like, I'm just gone, right? And so he was like, I have to wait, Joe, that's actually sick that you said that. So I'm gone. He was like, okay, I just have to finish. And I was like, okay. So they put me on my back again, like back on my back. And he was like, it's gonna be like 5 more minutes. And he finished my root canal. And then he was like, all right, you can go to the bathroom and like wash out your mouth. So then I like got up and went to the bathroom. And I'm like, I have one of those like, you know, club girl moments in the mirror where I was just like, what just happened? And I'm like looking at myself and I was like sobering up, you know? I like rinse out my mouth, whatever. I walk back into the room. There's like 3 dentists on the floor, like cleaning everything up. And I was like, guys, what happened? I was like, is this a thing that happens often? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay. And then the endodontist kept saying like, hey, it's okay, don't worry about it. And I was like, bitch, you should not be telling me that. I should be telling you that right now. Why are you telling me that it's okay? By the way, right after I threw up, you know what he said? You know what he said to me? He said, oh, you got nauseous, you didn't tell me. I'm not gonna explain why that's a problem. Okay? Anyway, they sit me back down on the chair, they take a couple x-rays, whatever. The lady walks me to the front, I pay. It's $1,000, by the way, to get a root canal in the US after insurance. Like, in network. Like, in network, your out-of-pocket is $1,000, which is incredible. They have me pay, and then I walk out to my car, and I'm like, I'm not driving right now. I like walked out to my car, and I was like, I don't think this is a good option right now. Like, why are they just ushering me out the door? So I'm sitting in my car, and I was like, I'm sitting in my car, and I was like, what the hell is in network? Wait, I forgot I have so many EU people. So in network, like this was a dentist that is covered by my insurance, but in network means that they have like pre-negotiated rates with the insurance company. So like it's the best that you can get essentially with the health insurance that you have. So they like usher me out to my car, whatever. They don't usher me out, I'm sorry. They usher me out to the front so I can pay. And then they're like, all right, have a good day. And then I like walked out to my car by myself and I was like, this doesn't seem right. So I'm sitting in my car in the front seat and I sat there for like 20 minutes and I was just like thinking about it. And I was like, the longer I was sitting there, the more I was like, this is not right. Like this whole thing was not right. And I'm upset about it. And I don't know what I want, but I just like, I need an explanation or I need someone to like give me more than just like, all right, have a good day. Like something terrible went terribly wrong in there and I just like need to understand it. So I went back in and I was like, can I talk to the endodontist again, the one that just did my root canal? And so he like brought me into his office and I was like, hey, I still feel super nauseous. I didn't feel okay to drive when you guys pushed me out the door. So just so you guys know for future reference, I wasn't like, I don't think it would have been a good idea for me to drive at that moment. But I still feel nauseous. Should I be concerned that I'm allergic to nitrous oxide? Like, is that something that I need to tell healthcare providers in the future? And he was like, no, it's definitely out of your system. It's so safe. You're not allergic to it. You're good. And I was like, okay, do I need to worry about infection in this tooth, given the vomit in my mouth when you finish the procedure? And he was like, no, that dental dam that stopped everything from exiting your mouth that sucks so bad for you protected that tooth. And so it, nothing got in there. Like it went great. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm good to go. And he was like, yeah, as long as you have your appointment for your crown. And I was like, what's that? And he was like, are you a patient here? And I was like, no, thank you to the man that just knocked me out and did my root canal for knowing that this is my first time at this office. I'm really glad that you have all this information. And I was like, no, I've never been here before. And he was like, oh, okay, well, just call your normal dentist then and make sure you schedule to get a crown put in because you have a temporary crown right now. And I was like, so if I didn't come back in to talk to you about this, I wouldn't have known that. Again, just so you know, for future patients, I wouldn't have known about that. And he was like, so sorry. And then I got home and I checked my email because I went to like work or whatever. And I had an email from them and it had aftercare instructions. This was like 3 hours after my appointment or something. And in the aftercare instructions in the PDF that they sent me to my email that they didn't walk me through after I left, they said, wait to eat for 2 hours. And I had already eaten. So anyway, I survived. I have no tooth pain, which is sick. And I have an appointment to get a crown at a different dentist office. You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or in the US, just makes you go bankrupt.